and welcome to California Bountiful. I'm your host, Aubrey Aquino, and for this episode, we're coming to you from Temecula Valley Wine Country. This is the Vine House. It's a cute bed and breakfast that sits along the Deep Portola wine trail. So of course, we had to sit out and see what Temecula has to offer. In the center of Southern California, Temecula Valley Wine Country is home to an emerging and evolving culinary scene, small-town atmosphere, and plenty of agritourism inspired by the vine.
What's so interesting about winemaking is that we're not just out for production or for tonnage. We're out for quality, and we're also out for expression.
Wilson Creek is a family-owned winery where vineyard manager Greg Pennyroyal has been implementing regenerative farming practices since its inception.
To make really great wine, you want grapes that are biochemically balanced. And the way you get that is by having biochemically balanced soil and a healthy system, so the whole thing's working as a total system. We focus on the health of the plants. I do a bi-weekly sap analysis, which is sort of like doing a blood test if you're in a hospital. And we look at what deficiencies or what excesses the plants might have. And then we have micro brewers and bio brewers, and we have all sorts of stuff that we make these concoctions of sort of like kefir yogurts, and we feed it to the plants. We're spoon feeding the plants all season long, because what we're after is that maximum biochemical complexity and density of the grapes. And it's that complexity that makes great wines.
And where there's wine, it's not unusual to find this flowering plant.
We are a local lavender farm, and this is our store. We grow everything, just lavender, and there's lavender in all of our products. We have about 6,000 plants, so it's not huge. It's not a huge farm, but it's plenty for me. I use everything I grow.
Farm to store, here visitors can shop and pick up some TLC.
Basics bath and body home care is what we call it. We have candles, we have soaps, we have lotions. We do have shampoo, salt scrubs, body butters, shea butter, massage oil, and of course the essential oils.
Just minutes away from Old Town in the mountains of Duluth is Maryland Farms, where they grow macadamia nuts. Owner Kurt runs the farm and also collaborates with other growers in the region.
And they're a great tree because they're drought resistant, they tolerate cold. You water them and they'll grow here in this climate. These trees drop 6 to 8 months out of the year, and we hand pick them off the ground and then husk them and then dry them and process them.
When it comes to olive oil, the Temecula Olive Oil Company is 100% committed to using only the highest quality California fruit.
We're in Awanga, California, just outside of Temecula, and this is where we started our olive grove and our business over 20 years ago.
It's a family-owned operation where the SoCal climate is a factor in all of its success.
Really, the only place that can grow olives consistently in the United States is California. It's one of the easiest things to farm in the world. They don't require a lot of water. Nothing wants to eat an olive off the tree, so we don't have to worry about the birds and kids next door or anything like that. I don't know if you've ever had an olive right off the tree, but it's memorable. You'll never forget how bad it tastes.
And they pioneered an engaging way to experience their liquid gold.
It was actually the first olive oil tasting room in the country. And people found their way to this little out-of-the-way tasting room, and we continued to grow. And it obviously wasn't a stupid idea, because now we have 7 tasting rooms around Southern California.
Then, for a fast casual approach to a true taste of Temecula, make sure to eat.
We're at Extraordinary Artisan Table, and the locals refer to us very fondly as Eat Marketplace. And we're in Old Town Temecula, in one of the largest ag counties in the state of California. So when you walk in to eat, you get a cafe, you get dining, you get deli, you get provisional marketplace, you get a coffee and smoothie bar, you get a wine bar, and that's a lot. But when you walk in the door, we want you to know where you're at, and that starts with our staff. So we pull from 12 different farmers from Vista to right here in the Temecula Valley, our olive oils, our wines, our beers, our kombuchas, and I feel really fortunate to have that.
Leah Delight DiBernardo is the founder and chef at Eat, whose approach to food is delicious, healthy, and educational.
You cook, you serve people, right? So where is the food coming from? Who is growing it? how is the health of the soil? What is that final outcome going to be? Because if we're talking every day, I see you at Costco, or I see you here in Old Town, or I see you at a coffee shop, or I see you in a local government meeting, it's really nice to know that we're all healthy, that we've got this gut-brain connection that's clear. I am really proud that we have one of the most profound regenerative agriculture happening here in this valley. Like our care for our soil and a clear understanding of our future and the future of food, we're all at the table in that discussion most every day.
Just beautiful. Temecula is such a perfect place to sip and stay for a quick getaway. Still ahead, cultivating Dutch agriculture on all-American soil. This business is blooming. And next up, tomato or tomato. We get a taste of Temecula Farms, where they're planting varieties to suit your preference. California Bountiful is brought to you by the California Farm Bureau. Agriculture is a long-time important part of the communities of Morgan Hill and San Martin, where farm fresh experiences and products are abundant and ripe for the taking. In southern Santa Clara County, Temecula Farms was born from the desire to get hands in the dirt and share its bounty with family and friends.
We are tomato farmers. We specialize in heirloom tomatoes. We grow usually anywhere from 50 to 60 varieties each year, and that changes every year because we like kind of experimenting with different varieties and trying different species out. We do organic and regenerative farming as well. And a big part of what we're about is educating the community about what that means and the future of farming.
And once the fruits of their labor were discovered by local chefs and neighbors, the farm kept growing.
Tomatoes have been something that I was brought up enjoying. I'm Italian by background, so we used a lot of tomatoes in our everyday cooking, of course, and I've always loved them. And I joke with my wife, you know, some guys want to golf when they retire, some guys want to hunt when they retire. Well, I wanted to farm when I retired, so we bought this property about 7 years ago and started growing. I think the first year we had 200 plants, and now we're about a little over 5,000 plants. We do a starter plant sale every year, and we offer the public anywhere from 30 to 40 different varieties of tomatoes that they can't find anywhere else. Cherry tomatoes, I'm a big fan of black cherry, and I'm a big fan of Brad's Atomic Grape. As far as slicing tomatoes, I'm a big fan of probably Carbon, Brandywine, and Black Crim. The main marketing vehicle for our tomatoes is an honor cart. So every day we harvest fresh tomatoes grown on our farm, put them on a cart, we roll that cart out to the curb, and people in the community kind of gotten to know that that cart's out every day during the season, and they'll come by and they'll help themselves weigh their own tomatoes and put money in a can or Venmo us payment for those. We have our farm dogs. We have a couple goats, Penelope and Paisley, that are basically here as pets. They're not dairy goats, they're not meat goats, they're kind of part of the farm experience for people. We have chickens as well, so occasionally you'll find fresh eggs out on our cart in the summer months.
Temecula is also known to host farm-to-table dinners, partnering with other local farms and farmers.
We highlight tomatoes as part of the menu, but we also bring in local goods from other farms, and with each product that we bring in, we talk about that farm, what they grow, and give some background and history about who they are and some of their practices. So it is a connected community. We're all very tight.
The farm leaves nothing to waste, collecting the tomatoes that don't sell and offering canned products too, including sliced and roasted tomatoes, tomato vinegars, and jellies.
What's really neat about it is it's been a learning experience, and it's been a way for us to connect with the community. So we've gotten to know a lot of local farmers in the process, and we've gotten to know a lot about the business of farming and a lot about the future of farming.
Caprese salads, margarita pizzas, and a fresh sandwich, what do they all have in common? They're amplified by the delicious tomato. Tomatoes are good for you for multiple reasons because they're high in vitamin C, vitamin K, and they also have a potent antioxidant called lycopene. You're gonna get even more lycopene when you actually cook these tomatoes, which is why I love roasting them or even putting them on the grill. Now, tomatoes also have a really important quality which helps bring out the absorption of heme iron when you're eating a high source of protein, such as a hamburger or even a breakfast sandwich with a fried egg, which is why they're great to pair with those types of foods. Now, if you're like me, I love to have a fresh salad almost any time of day, which is why doing a caprese salad or even putting it on a skewer is a perfect way to enjoy tomatoes. On top of that, you can simply slice them and enjoy them with some fresh sea salt. I'm Ashley Hawk, a registered dietitian, and to find out more tips and tricks to make your life easier in the kitchen, go to @AshleyHawkRD.
Still to come, a coastal California flower farmer whose blooms are breeding success. But first, all the tasty tomatoes. Now it's time for a taste because they make sure these tomato flavors last year-round. So we have one commodity prepared in many ways, and I'm here with Lisa. Lisa, you have prepared quite the tasting menu for me today.
I have.
And so one of the things you guys do here at the farm is you make sure that nothing goes to waste.
We do. So tomatoes don't have a very long shelf life. We put them out on our cart, and if they aren't sold right away, they get a little ugly or they get a little mushy, and people don't choose that for their salad or their sandwich. So we take those tomatoes and we freeze them. We put them in big 5-gallon bags in our freezers, and once a week we take them down to a commercial canner, and she makes value-added processed products for us.
So there's 5 different tasting dishes for us. So tell me what we have.
Okay, the first thing we're gonna try is the Temecula Farms Bloody Mary mix. We have 2 kinds. We have a mild that we call our Legendary Mary, and we have a spicy, which is our Cautionary Mary. That's
Cautionary.
That's what I prepared for you today. A little shot of
Okay.
a Bloody Mary.
So what is the proper way to drink a Bloody Mary? Because I'm not really familiar.
You can eat your olive if you like it.
Would that be first or second?
I think that would be first.
Okay, so I eat the olive.
Eat the olive, or take at least a bite of the olive, and then a little bit of your Bloody Mary.
That was good. Whoa, that has some spice.
Yeah, that's the Cautionary Mary. Maybe I should have given you Legendary, but most people who like Bloody Marys tend to go for the spice. Yeah, a little bacon and a little celery.
Amazing.
You like
That
it?
was good.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I mean, I wasn't quite prepared for the spice. Even though you cautioned me.
Yes.
But that was pretty good.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. This is a crostini. It's a toasted baguette slice made by one of our local bakers, by the way, Matriarch Bread Company here in Morgan Hill. She brought them over yesterday. It has some goat cheese, and it has Temecula Farms sun-dried tomatoes.
Sun-dried tomatoes.
A little basil and a little artichoke heart.
Oh, that is good.
You taste the tomatoes. The sun-drieds are something that we really enjoy doing. They take a whole lot of work and time.
And it has that nice, like, sweet quality to it.
I put a little honey on it too.
Oh, there we go.
I did. I forgot to mention that I put some local honey on
But I
it.
think people don't realize. You just think it's like a tomato. You don't really think about like how diverse of the dishes you
The
can
sun-drieds
prepare.
are really delicious. They take a long time to make, but they're totally worth it. This is new this year for us. It's shakshuka sauce, and if you're not familiar with shakshuka, it's an Israeli peasant dish, and it's basically eggs poached in this tomato sauce. So it's a roasted tomato sauce, has a lot of warm spices in it. It has a little garlic, it has some cumin.
Okay.
And you basically warm it up in a pan, and then you crack the egg in the middle, and you poach the egg in the sauce, and it's eaten with a big hunk of bread, and you just smoosh it.
Okay, so I just
through
gotta
the egg.
smoosh
You
it,
just
smoosh it. Am I
through.
smooshing?
Yep, you're smooshing.
Okay. And again, what are the flavors I should be tasting?
The tomato is going to be in the forefront, obviously. It's got some cumin, some coriander, some cinnamon, some nice spices, some nice warm spices. And that's almost an everyday breakfast
Just
in
smoosh
Israel.
it.
Yeah, yep, and you get a little bit of your egg, and you got your smoosh, and you did a great job.
Lisa, this is
You like
wonderful.
it? Yeah. We end up eating a lot of that.
It's like a diversity of flavors in there.
It's really different, right? We are on to Temecula Farms marinara sauce.
Yeah, we all know marinara.
It's
That's
a
a popular
traditional marinara sauce with little spinach and cheese fried ravioli to give you something to taste.
Okay, I'm gonna grab a fork with this one.
There you go.
Nice and crispy.
Joe was the fryer today. Good job.
Oh, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
Tasty? Good. Yeah, the marinara is hugely versatile.
That's a really good marinara.
We actually have quite a few different kinds of marinara. This is our traditional marinara, our heirloom tomatoes. We also have an olive oil marinara. We have a vodka sauce that we do. Your last tasting of the day is made with our roasted tomatoes. So they're roasted with garlic and herbs. Really intensifies their flavor, and I use those to make a little bit of tomato soup and of course a grilled cheese sandwich, because you can't have tomato soup. We're dunkers in our family.
Right.
I think it'll fit.
I know. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm going for the dunk.
See.
Oh,
there you go.
Wow,
You're
okay.
gonna be able to dunk.
So cute. Okay. Oh, I love tomato soup.
I know.
That is really good. We'll dunk it again.
As soon as the weather gets just a little bit chilly, the grilled cheese and tomato soup comes out.
Even if it's warm, I'll still do it.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. We do a tomato paste that's really amazing. Takes a really long time. We concentrate it to where it's just really thick and beautiful. And because of our sweet tomatoes, it's a great addition to soups and stews and chili.
And there's just so many different things you can do.
With just the tomato. So
Lots of ideas with the tomatoes over here. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you for coming.
Hi everyone, I'm Marvin Maldonado. We're standing in our beer garden at Federalist Public House in Midtown, Sacramento, California. I'm going to show you how to make our fall chop salad. Our fall chop is actually pretty easy. It's got a lot of easy ingredients. First we start with a dollop of ricotta right in the center of the board. Pretty easy. It's something you want to probably make at parties. Maybe holiday parties would be nice. This will end up looking like a little sunburst of color. So we're going to grab 4 of our yellow endive petals and kind of place them on the board evenly all the way around the center of the dollop. As you can see, the flower is already kind of starting to form. And then we're going to equally get some smaller endive leaves and place them around the same center of the ricotta. Super simple mix of small chopped up endive. We have some local persimmons, pepitas, cranberries, and our house-made apple cider vinaigrette. And all we're really gonna do is take this and plate it within the leaf. So this is kind of like a pick and pull kind of finger food, little salad to eat. Definitely recommend eating this with your hands and not with a fork and knife. But super simple, nice and bright, got a little bit of tartness and acidity from the vinaigrette, and nice crunchy chunks of fuyu persimmons, some local pink lady apples, and some pepitas kind of rounds out that flavor. And then we finish this thing with just the perfect sprig of mint right in the middle.
Coming up, we take you inside a greenhouse where their blooms have become big business.
Welcome back. When it comes to orchids, less is more. The flower may have a reputation for being fussy, but we found a California grower who's using his Dutch agricultural roots to become a blooming success.
I was just messing around on my iPad on Google Maps with satellites, and then I found a greenhouse in Los Osos, which is our other facility, which is in San Luis Obispo County. And I drove over there, the greenhouse was empty, it looked really bad, really dirty. I left a post-it note, and then a couple of months later I got a call from the owner, and then he said, "Are you still interested?" And I said yes. You know, that started the ball rolling. It was a long shot, I wasn't expecting anything, and then it sparked the start of this business, right?
Call it happenstance, but that's how this Dutchman was able to put down some roots and begin blooming as an American flower farmer.
I was born and raised in the Netherlands. My family, they're all in this industry, not necessarily flowers, but in the horticulture industry. And before that, it was more dairy farmers. Well, when I was 13 or 14, I did an internship in this exact same crop back in the Netherlands, and it sparked my interest. In 2014, I arrived here all by myself with 2 suitcases, and I worked for a big company in the same crop as what you see right here, also in California. During that time I met my wife. I'm just very passionate about this specific orchid. I just like how you can make different varieties, and it's a very rewarding plant. Like, if you take care of it well, it can last forever.
It's been 5 years since Cal Coast Orchids got its first greenhouse up and running. Now the operations have blossomed into 2 locations across California, Los Osos and Half Moon Bay.
Together we have 7 acres of greenhouses now. We went from 0 employees to 1 to 2 to 3, and now we've got 45 employees here. So we just grew like crazy. It's all great, but it's also a lot of organizational skills you need to have to keep growing like this. At least I have over 80 varieties here right now, but in general there are like over 300 to 400 varieties. Maybe even more, but that's because you can cross-pollinate and breed and crossbreed, and so yeah, that creates a lot of, you know, excitement for the breeders. But we're the growers here, so you know, we need to make sure that it looks good, but it also has a good shelf life, flowers at the same time.
And he says they're feeding the market with at least 2.5 to 3 million orchid plants per year. Plus, they've expanded the business to supply all kinds of houseplants to local garden centers all over the state.
I love growing plants in general. I just really like this one too, of course, but I just like to work with nature. I like that we as humans are able to manipulate how plants turn out, so to see. So even though it's a plant, but you as a human, with the climate and the watering and the curtains and the humidity, you can have a say in how it turns out. Every day is different because the plants and the weather are always different as well. So I think it's not boring. I think that's what the main message is. Yeah, there's always something, in a good way and in a bad way.
Bas also explains one of the reasons he was intent on cultivating orchids in the U.S. is because he feels the flowering plant is a bit misunderstood.
Most people are scared of their plants because they are afraid to kill it, right? And orchids are really not that difficult when you know what you're doing. These roots are a little bit light gray, white-ish, but here they're green. So the green means that there is chlorophyll here, which means there's photosynthesis in the roots. That's why these pots are transparent, so the sun can go in. Now, what most people do not know is when to water. So when all of the roots across the pot looks like this color, when it looks like white grayish, then it's time to water. If you have any doubt, if you think you need to water it, but you're still doubting based off the color, what you see, just don't do it. Like, even me as a grower, sometimes I'm like, should I water today or tomorrow? And the moment I start doubting, I just walk away. And then I come back again, I'm like, no, I'm not watering today. So drier is always better than too wet. The moisture creates issues.
That's going to do it for this episode of California Bountiful from the Vine House in Temecula Valley Wine Country. I'm Aubrey Aquino. Thanks for hanging out with us, and remember, you can always find us online at californiabountiful.com. Until next time, take care.